So welcome back guys. Today we are looking at another Python video and this time we are looking at world population data. So we're going to explore how you can check data in a Pandas data frame, basically check data in Python, and we're going to use some data from the world population page on Wikipedia. So once you get on this page, I want you guys to scroll down and find this particular table here under largest populations by country. What I want you to do is copy and paste this table into an Excel file. And I like this because it's a short, really short table and it has a mixture of different data types. You got numeric values in here, percentages, date values, strings. And we're going to use this and save it in Python and load it up in Python in a Pandas data frame. So I'm already in Python. I'll let you guys decide, what which Python editor you want to use. I use Jupyter. So the first things first, we're going to import pandas as PD. So we're importing pandas, giving it an alias as PD. And the path is the path to my file. So I've saved my file in a folder here under my documents. I've called it world population data. So here's the pathway and the name of the file is world population data along with the extension to the file, which is an XLSX. And then we want to read in this data frame, which I'm calling df under variable df using pandas. Again, the alias PD, and we're reading the Excel. We're reading it from this path via an Excel file. So first things first, in terms of checking data, we're going to use the typical print df function. So here you can see if I print df, you can see I've got all the values from the table that we had up on our screen earlier. So this is great. It shows us that basically we've got everything we need. I use this quite a lot, but really when the data files are large, I don't always print the data frame. When the data frame or when your table is really large, Pandas by default will only print, say, the top 5 records and the bottom 5 records. So anytime you print df, you can rest assured you're not going to see the full data set. You're going to see a partial data set. And the best thing about Pandas is you don't need to write print df as you would in other editors. What I love about Pandas is you can just do df and just hit shift and enter, and it'll give you an output in a nice HTML friendly format. So now that we've done df, I want to show you the next one that I use typically when I'm inspecting data in Python, and that is df shape. So here, if I run df shape, we get something interesting. So I'm just going to run df again. So what we're seeing with df shape, we're seeing if we go to the pandas help guide or the help page, you can see here pandas data frame, which is df.shape, returns an array of all the dimensions in a tuple. So what we have here is a tuple. You can see in the nice round brackets, but this 10 essentially refers to an array. It's an array, so you got two values. An array is like a matrix. So here you can see the 10 refers to the 10 columns. So obviously you got 9 records, and if you count the header, that's 10 in total, and then 5, which is 5 across. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, this just confirms the shape of the file that you're looking at, or the shape of the table you're looking at, and it's a good, quick, and easy way to determine how big the file size is in terms of height and length. So this is a good one, and I don't use it all the time, but it's a good one that I like. The next one is df.info. This is a more interesting one. Now this one, as you know, we don't have many columns or we don't have many fields. DF info presents all the data types, and this is what I really like. So here you can see for country dependency, it's currently an object. For population, however, it's an integer 64, and I might want to change that. I might want to change it to another data type, and I can check to see that it's the desired data types that I need are actually present in in this preview using df.info. So df.info guys is one of my favorites. The other big one I really like is df.describe. Now this one I don't use a lot because it's more of a statistical kind of preview. So it shows you, the count of fields that you have, what percentage, or if you like, how many you have in terms of count, how many values you have. So interesting thing here, you've even got things like mean averages, min values, max values, standard deviation. Again, this is all useful if you are looking at the data or you're looking at numerical data. Otherwise, I would say probably not the best one to use. The other one I like is data types or D types. Again, this is very similar to df.info, except it's more summarized. You can see the field names and the data types. So this is probably a better one than using df.info, but I'll leave it up to you guys. And then we carry on here. The other one I really like is df values. Now this is an interesting one, relatively new one for me. Df values just prints all the values in your data frame. It doesn't actually give you any columns or any headings. It just purely prints the values. So it's useful when you just want to see the values really quickly. Otherwise, I would just say stick to one of the other useful methods like .d types or .describe. Likewise, we can also do not just df values, we can also do df columns. Again, another quick and easy way of seeing the columns. But if I'm honest, again, I don't prefer using this one. It's an option for you to use. I do prefer using something like d types or using info. Okay, so carrying on, the next one we have is one of my favorites, which is now df head. So if you've got a really tall file, loads and hundreds of records, instead of printing everything, you can just do a df head, and within your round brackets, you can give a number. I can have 5, I can have 1, I can have whatever number I like. And really, the benefit of doing this is you can just preview the data and set the number of records that you actually want to see. And then likewise, what I really like to do is to check the tail as well to make sure that if I've got a file with say 1,000 records, I want to make sure at the end here I'm seeing 1,000 or 999 just to be sure that I've pulled in all the data. So guys, that in a nutshell is all the tips and advice I have for you when it comes to checking data in Pandas and in Python. There's so many different options now when you're checking data, but be sure whenever you read in data that you check the data thoroughly, make sure your data frame is correct and it's loaded up correct. And then you can do whatever you need to do after that, whether you want to clean up data, merge data, filter data, it's entirely up to you. But do make sure that you pull in and you preview your data first and check the condition of the data before you start to operate on it. So thanks guys for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.